What's up, you guys? Welcome back to 7 Moons Astrology. I'm Sarah Kirby, and today we're talking about what's on the horizon for March of 2022. This is a beautiful energy coming in here this month, and it's much nicer than nearly anything we've experienced the entirety of all last year, because that Saturn-Uranus square that's responsible for so much of the pressure that we've been under is finally really breaking up. It's out of orb now, and to me this whole month just feels like let's just exhale out that tension and that weight and that pressure that we've been under. All planets are direct now, and so this is something that actually happened in mid-February, but I think we're feeling the energy a little bit stronger now because Mercury has made it out of its shadow period from its last retrograde. So we're really full steam ahead, and it feels to me like some of the changes that we've been struggling with and working so hard to create in our lives and the problems that we just kept persistently facing are starting to break up and move in the right direction. And so even just to set the scene with that alone, we're in a really good place. But there is some really beautiful and even really rare energy happening this March, and it will continue into, near the end of April. So we've got this beautiful time period here coming up before eclipse season that's going to really help us get where we're trying to go. So I want to walk us through some of the transits and talk about the planetary ingresses that we have coming up and the things that are of note this month, March of 2022. So it kicks off right off the bat with the new moon in Pisces on March 2nd. So this is a fantastic, beautiful energy. And there's really nothing I don't like about it. Usually any type of new or full moon will have some good and some bad, some nice harmonious aspects and some challenging sticking points. But this one, it's really all good. There is really nothing that I want to say about it that, I could give you some words of caution, but I think that this energy is going to feel really beautiful. And the reason why that is because Jupiter and Neptune are building into a very rare, potent, beautiful, powerful conjunction in the sign of Pisces. This is actually their home sign together. Jupiter rules the sign of Pisces in traditional astrology, and Neptune is the modern day ruler of that sign. And what that means when a planet is at home in its sign and it's the ruler of that sign is that its energy can express very, very clearly without interruption and exactly as it is. Kind of like the way that we are when we're at home. We're just take it as it is. We're comfortable, we're relaxed, and we're completely authentic. So the energy is clear. So the conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune really only happens about every 12 or so years because that's how long it takes Jupiter to go around the full zodiac cycle. But the last time that this conjunction happened in their home sign of Pisces it was all the way back in 1856. So this is a very rare energy that we haven't experienced in a long, long time, where both of these planets are really where they like to be. And I'm expecting some beautiful things to open up for us here because the sun on this new moon begins to light up that conjunction, which is building now. So it comes exact not until April 12th, but the sun is going to illuminate and begin to activate the building intensity of that energy coming together. This is feeling compassionate, hopeful, imaginative, dreamy, and really some of our larger than life ideals can come to manifest around this time. So we'll talk a little bit more about the new moon in the videos that I do specifically for that energy, but I just want to say that we're starting off on the right foot here because this is going to be a really, really smooth energy. The next day, Mars and Venus in a conjunction are actually going to conjunct with Pluto at the later degrees of Capricorn. So this is 27 degrees. Mars and Venus have been in a cycle now where they're moving in the sky together. They're conjunct and they're dancing along very close together from the perspective of Earth. This cycle kicked off on February 16th with the full moon in Leo that we had. So think back to that time and notice that probably felt like a turning point where things sort of began to really come together. And it might have required you to make a significant change. It might have required you to speak up about something that could be uncomfortable. But really what it did was kind of open a door for a new cycle to start with Mars and Venus. This is the masculine and feminine counterpart in astrology, Mars being the planet of our action and our willpower, the masculine element, and Venus being the planet of receptivity and harmony and relationship and connection. That's the feminine element. And so they come together and they love to be in conjunction with one another. And that energy lights us up. It creates more passion, more magnetism. It's really alchemy at its finest because of the way that those two polarities, masculine and feminine, come together and balance one another. So we're at a point in time where we are better able to balance rest with action, better able to balance self-assertion and consideration of other people. And what this does is it gets our energy right? And it's such a beautiful time when they come in a conjunction with Pluto, because Pluto is all about manifestation and magnetism and transformation of what we don't want into what we do want, what we fear into what we desire. That's what Pluto is all about. So they're coming together at the later degrees of Capricorn here, and it's going to be a super magical, potent, passionate, powerful time. I really think that this is going to translate as a positive energy. And they're going to continue in conjunction for the better part of the spring. And so this is really just the beginning here of what this energy feels like. So we'll touch on that more a little bit later, but I think what you need to remember is that this is when all the elements come to combine. And this energy is another theme for March. It's when Mars, which by association to Aries is the fire element, and by association to Scorpio is the water element, and Venus has its connection to Taurus, which is earth, and Libra, which is air. So this is when all the elements and polarities kind of unify together, and we are just magnetic. We can really create what we want in our lives and set in stone a good positive momentum in the direction we want when it comes to our money, our finances, our relationships, and the things that we're creating in our lives. And it's definitely related to the struggles that we've been having all of last year and sort of moving forward in the way that we want to. So this is all really good news. And after they conjunct at the end of Capricorn, Mars and Venus are going to move into Aquarius on the 6th. And so we're shifting into Aquarian energy, and this is going to light up our social circles. Aquarius has associations to the groups that we're a part of, the friendships and social circles that we connect with, and the things that we do out of a sense of charity. And this energy is so heightened this month, especially during Pisces season, while the sun is still in Pisces, because Pisces is all about compassion for other people and sacrifice. And Aquarius is that good-natured will to humanity at large. It's very altruistic in nature. And so we have all these new ideas about how we want to connect authentically with different groups. And we're really starting to become more generous, I think, around this time, more free thinking and more original, and also really starting to find the people we're supposed to be connecting with all along. So if you're somebody who has been struggling to connect with the right kinds of groups, I think that this energy is going to help you quite a bit with that. Later on, we've got the full moon in Virgo on March 18th, and that's going to help us take this dreamy headspace that we will be in for the entirety of the sun in Pisces and drop it into Earth reality. So it's a good full moon. There are some parts about it that are a little bit more challenging, and I think where that can come in is if we are becoming obsessively critical about what we're trying to do or create. But it really is beneficial for getting it just right and where it needs to be. It's a perfectionist eye that takes our dreams and says, hey, I can't just sit around daydreaming about this all day long. I need to do something about it. And because I care about it so much, I need to make sure it's damn good. And so that's what the full moon in Virgo is going to do for us at large. And I'll talk about that later on as we get there too. And then 2 days later, on March 20th, the sun will move into Aries, and this is the beginning of the astrological new year. It's springtime energy. It's a good time to clean everything out, and you will probably feel compelled to do so. Take charge, create something new, initiate. Well, there will be a freshness in the air, when it comes to the sun in Aries. And then March 27th, Mercury will join the sun in Aries too. And so our thinking and our intellect and our communication take on a more Aryan nature, right? So things that you have to watch out for is becoming too dominant in conversation, stepping on people's toes, not making space and room to listen, a feeling of urgency and anxiety around everything you do. Like there's this persistent sense that you could always be doing more and you're not doing enough. And if you aren't doing something that feels like you're achieving something worth your time, there's this big restlessness feeling. The key to curbing that energy is two things. Physical movement, which is the best way to channel an abundance of Aries energy. And the second thing is to keep yourself mentally and intellectually stimulated, because Aries energy does not want to be bored. So you need an outlet, something that you can dedicate your time to. But really, I think that season's going to feel pretty good as well, because we've got that Jupiter and Neptune conjunction continuing to build in the sign of Pisces, and Venus and Mars will still be together. So overall, I'm thinking that the next 2 months are going to feel pretty good, and I'm really excited to talk to you more about it in detail as it comes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching With Energy. Sarah.